All right, let's bring you this developing story now. International Relations Minister Naledi Pandor is expected to host Russia's Minister of Natural Resources in Pretoria today. It forms part of the SA-Russia Joint Committee on Trade and Economic Cooperation. In fact, this visit comes after the ICC issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Our politics editor here at Newzroom Afrika, Lukhanyo Calata, joins us live ahead of that briefing. Lukhanyo, good morning. It's great to see you. What do we need to be thinking of at the top of mind ahead of this visit?
Michelle, good morning indeed. So, yes, the Russian Minister for Natural Resources and Environment, Mr. Alexander Kozlov, is in the country. He's going to meet with our International Relations Minister, Naledi Pandor, in a few minutes' time. The problem here, though, Michelle, is that this visit, although it's meant to be about trade and the economy and, the continual bilateral relationships between South Africa and Russia, is that this visit comes, as you correctly point out, just days after the International Criminal Court basically issued this warrant of arrest for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who we are, of course, expecting to host in August this year when he comes here for the BRICS summit. Now, whether or not that elephant that stands quite massively in the room is going to be discussed between these two ministers is quite, it remains to be seen, Michelle. But I do think that, aside from all of the trade and economy discussions that are likely to take place, that is going to be an issue that features quite strongly.
And I suppose, it takes us back to the visit by the King and Queen of Belgium not too long ago, Lukhanyo, where there were not so subtle inferences made to President Cyril Ramaphosa about the stance that South Africa should be taking.
Indeed, Michelle, ever since Russia invaded Ukraine, over a year ago now, South Africa's relationship with the Russian Federation has come under immense pressure from the international community. So there's a lot of pressure that some of these countries, as you correctly point out, the Belgian King and Queen that were here last week, they're all trying to exert this level of pressure because Russia is seen to be an aggressor and has moved into Ukraine unilaterally without the support, for instance, of the United Nations. So the war that's currently playing out there is seen to be something that's illegal. And South Africa's continued relationship with Russia is therefore seen as a problem because it's seen in a way that South Africa is continuing to support Russia, even though the Russians they went into Ukraine basically by themselves and are doing something that none of the Western countries and even some of those, the majority of the countries in Europe are in support of, and that's obviously this ongoing war that's in Ukraine. So it's going to be interesting to hear how Minister Pandor navigates, that very fine or tight line between discussing issues of trade and economy as well as obviously this issue around this warrant of arrest by the ICC, whether or not South Africa is going to effect that. Remember what happened when the ICC a few years ago, Michelle, issued a similar warrant of arrest for the former Sudanese president, Omar al-Bashir. Remember, that South Africa never actually carried out that warrant of arrest. So are we then facing a similar instance where there is a warrant of arrest issued and then President Vladimir Putin comes to South Africa and then South Africa does not effect that warrant of arrest?
Our politics editor here at Newzroom Afrika, Lukhanyo Calata, thanks very much indeed. International Relations Minister Naledi Pandor to be hosting Russia's Minister of Natural Resources in Pretoria today.